Hey, what's up? This is Anupam. Welcome back. This is the third tutorial on the video tutorial series on UART in STM32F4 Discovery board. You can check out the website www.logicvoltage.com. You will find many other STM32F4 Discovery tutorials at the website also. You can even check out the video store at the website. You will find very good video tutorial series there with a very less price. You can even get in touch with me also in case of any query. Just go to contact us page and fill up the form and I will reply. You can check out the forum also. For any tutorial related queries, you can post comment there and I will reply back there so that other people can also see the comments and what discussion is going on. Please make some donations so that we can continue to create the free tutorials. You are welcome to choose any amount as you like for donation. We will be highly appreciated. You can also support us by subscribing my YouTube channel. Thanks. Okay guys, in this tutorial series, we are learning about UART communication and we have already built this circuit in the first tutorial. First one is the STM32F4 Discovery board that will work as transmitter here, and then we have a second board, that's STM32VL Discovery board, that will work here as a receiver. And in the previous tutorial we have written the program for the transmitter so that when we press switch it will send A character, when we press second switch it will send B, and when we press third switch it will send C character. Okay, in the previous tutorial we have written the program for STM32F4 Discovery board that's acting as a transmitter. Now we will write the program for STM32VL Discovery board that will act as a receiver. Let's start. Okay, so let's first create a new project. Let's name it STM32VL Receive. Now for STM32VL Discovery board, we have to select here STM32 medium density value line devices, and then in the microcontroller drop down we have to select STM32F100RB microcontroller, because that's what we have in the STM32VL Discovery board. Then rest process is same as we are following for STM32F4 Discovery board. Okay, now our project is created. If you can see that we have so many lines written here by default in the main.c file. Well, we don't need them. These lines are provided by default by Atomic True Studio. So let's delete all the unnecessarily lines. Okay, so now we have only few lines left which we needed. One include statement and then our main function having a while loop. Okay, so we are done now. If you remember, when we created new project for STM32F4 Discovery board, we changed the clock settings. But for this STM32VL Discovery, Atomic True Studio by default gives us the correct clock settings. So we don't need to update any clock settings now. Okay, so now our project is created. So first is we need to configure and initialize the pins in which LEDs are connected. Our 4 LEDs are connected to PC0, PC1, PC2 and PC3 pin. So let's do configure them. Let's first declare the structure. Then start the clock for the port C. Now start setting the parameters in the structure. Then initialize by calling this function. If you noticed that the line of codes that we used to write upon the STM32 Discovery board are not very different from what we have written here. The concept is almost same, only thing is few lines changed. So next is we need to decide which UART to use here as a receiver. Now if you remember that in the previous tutorial when we were writing code for STM32F4 Discovery board, we have in a similar kind of situation that we have decided which UART to use. So at that time I opened the technical data sheet for the microcontroller, and then we decided the UART 3 and PD8 and PD9 pins. Now in this tutorial for STM32VL Discovery board, also we have to go to technical datasheet for the microcontroller and then decide which UART as well as which pins to be used. Let's do that. Okay, here I have already downloaded the technical datasheet for the microcontroller on STM32VL Discovery board. You can download it from ST website, or you can go to www.logicvoltage.com website and go to download section and download it from there. Okay, so this is the technical data sheet. Now if you go to page number 19, you can see here there is a section for UART. You can see here written that in this microcontroller we have 3 UART. UART 1, UART 2, UART 3. So we can choose any one. Now as I said earlier also that in this tutorial series that we are learning UART and we are actually doing UART communication, but we are using the UART peripheral, because we can use UART peripheral also to do UART communication, because both are nearly same. Only main difference is extra clock line present in UART communication. So let's say we choose UART 2 here. Okay, so now we have decided UART 2. So next steps is to find the transmit and receive pins for UART 2. Now if you go to page number 24, there is a table that's from this page and then goes on to multiple pages. In this long table we will find UART 2 TX and RX pin. Let's search for UART 2. Okay, you can see that we have found the UART 2 TX and UART 2 RX. TX is PA2 and RX is PA3. So now we have all the details. We will use UART2 and PA2 and PA3 pins. Let's now get back to the program and start configuring UART2 peripheral. Let's configure the UART TX and RX pins. Well, actually we will only use this board as a receiver, so we do not need to initialize the TX pin. So let's configure the RX pin in alternate function mode. So now we have configured the receiver pin. Let's now initialize the UART2. First declare the UART structure. Then start the clock for UART2. Then start setting values one by one in the UART structure. Okay, so now our UART peripheral is configured and initialized. Okay, now few things which you should understand, that these settings should be same as we have configured in the transmitter discovery board in the previous tutorial. The baud rate 9600, word length 8-bit, 1 stop bit, no parity bit, no hardware flow control. So these settings should be same that we have configured in the previous tutorial. If there is any change, then the UART communication will not happen, because transmitter will send in a different format than what the receiver is expecting. So both configurations should be same. Now next is finally enabling the UART2 peripheral. Okay, so now our UART2 is initialized. Okay, so now you must be wondering that although we have initialized the UART2 peripheral and configured the received pin in alternate function mode, but how it will know that a character is sent from the transmitter board? So for that we need to initialize the UART2 receiver interrupt. That means whenever the UART2 received a character, it will generate an interrupt and a interrupt service routine will be called. And in the interrupt service routine, we will write the logic that will check the received character and blink the particular LED as per the received character. Let's do that. So first we need to initialize the UART2 receive interrupt. Let's do that. And now we have to configure and initialize the NVIC for UART2. Okay, so now the UART2 receive interrupt is initialized and it will generate interrupt if it receives anything. So next step is write the interrupt service routine. Let's do that. First, let's declare a variable on which we will store the received data. And write the ISR. Okay, this is the ISR for UART2 interrupt. In this ISR, you can see that first in the if condition, we are checking if this interrupt is occurred because UART true has received something. Then we are getting that received character or data in a variable, and then we are checking that variable if the received data is A or B or C, and then on the basis of that received character we are switching on and off the LEDs. For example, let's say we got B, so this if condition will become true and it will light on the LED 2 that is connected to PC1 and then switch off after few seconds. And in the last else part, we have written code to light on and off the LED 4. That only will happen when the received character is none of A, B and C. And then finally, we are clearing the interrupt bit for UART2 receiver so that this interrupt will again become active and again wait for receive something. Okay, so now our program is complete for the second discovery board. We can now build this program and run on the STM32VL discovery board. Let's do that. Okay, so now we have programmed the second discovery board and it is now running. You can see that I have connected both these discovery boards through a USB cable with my computer because we need to give power on both these discovery boards. Okay, so now we have two programs running on two boards. We have written the transmitter program on the previous tutorial and right now it is running on STM32F4 Discovery board. And then we have written a receiver program on this tutorial and it is now running on STM32VL Discovery board. The one thing that we have left is a connecting wire between the first board transmitter pin to second board receiver pin. And now we can do that. We have PD8 pin on the first discovery board, that's transmitter pin. And now we have PA3 pin on this second board, that's for receiver. So now we have to do is we have to connect a wire from PD8 to 3 pin. Let's do that. Okay, actually one more thing that we needed is we should connect one wire from the ground pin of the first discovery board to ground pin of the second discovery board. Although it's not exactly needed, but generally it's a good practice to have a common ground on all our circuit. So let's connect a wire from the first board ground pin to second board ground pin. Okay, now we are done here and our circuit is complete and we are ready to do UART communication now. Okay, now I will press this first switch. Now the moment I press this switch, it will generate an interrupt and it will send a character using UART communication through this wire, and then an interrupt will get generated on this second board. Now in this second board we have written the ISR to check what is the character that we have received. So if we got a character, then this first LED will be light up. So let's see. Okay, you can see that this first LED got light up. That's great. That's what we are expecting. Hence our UART communication is happening. Let's check the other switches. Okay, you can see now how I am pressing the switch and the corresponding LED is lighting up. Hence, we have done the UART communication. That's awesome, guys. Okay guys, so we have learned the UART communication, how we transmit and receive through UART communication. We have written two programs and done the UART communication using two discovery boards. In the next tutorial, we will use this UART communication to create a cool and awesome product. We will use the Bluetooth on Android phone to send command to STM32F4Discovery board. Or in other words, I can say that we will control the STM32F4Discovery board using our Android smartphone. Once again, this is Anupam from www.logicvoltage.com, and thanks for watching. Bye.